everybody, how's it going? My name is Storytelling Blair. I'm here to give you guys a storytelling review. This week we're going to be doing something a little different. Originally I had planned to do 2 reviews in one review because both of them were going to be the New 52 Wonder Woman, so I thought put them together, why not? But instead it turned out to be a little too long, so I'm going to split it off into 2 parts. So this is going to be part 1. This week we're going to be reviewing Wonder Woman: Secret Origins, written by Brian Azzarello and the art's done by Cliff Chiang. This is a rough one. Let's get started. Now I know what you guys are thinking. Oh, Blair, this is Wonder Woman's Secret Origins. It sounds a lot like the Superman Secret Origins that you love so much. This must be a spiritual sequel or a cousin or something of that beloved story that you cherish so close to your heart. And good assumption, but this story is absolutely terrible. Now the story starts off with Diana and Alika sparring off. Alika is another Amazon and somewhat friends with Wonder Woman. I'm not going to call her a friend because she doesn't act like a friend. At first, they're having a grand old time and they're sparring. Of course, you don't know that because of the art. You know that because the writing is telling you that, oh yes, right now they're sparring. Watch as the Amazons do what they always do, which is sparring. The story has a problem of telling you what's going on rather than showing you what's going on. I don't know why Brian Azzarello in this story doesn't give Cliff Chiang enough freedom. It feels like every single panel he has to write something telling you what's going on, even though you can clearly see it in the artwork. This is not their strongest work by far. This seems like an afterthought. This seems like, okay, let's think of something real quick. Okay, what kind of origin story are we going to tell Wonder Woman? I don't know, her and Alika are going to be fighting, and they're going to be friends, you see? And then she's going to run off, and then the gods are going to say hi to her, and, it's just a mess. It's a mess. To me, this just screams out that he's just telling you what's happening rather than showing you what's happening. And I'm sorry, but if you have an artist, I feel like you should give him some trust. Diana is discussing with Alika why she wants to leave the island. Oh my god. And Alika at first dismisses it. And they're sitting there, they're sparring off, and Diana is pushing her point of why she wants to leave. Now mind you, in this story, Diana is a bright-eyed, bushy-tailed young girl. So Diana keeps on pushing her point with Alika that, hey, I want to leave the island. And Alika immediately gets emotional, and she's about to start crying, and she's just like, oh yeah? Well, you're just clay. She immediately insults Diana. And mind you, Diana is the princess of Themyscira. I mean, I understand this is an island of Amazonian women, and they are all tough to the bone, but it comes off as childish. It blows my mind that these Amazonian women who are supposed to be tougher and more superior than everybody else acts like all of us. Like, there has to be a difference. There has to be. She's been around for 3,000 years. Why is she acting like she's a teenager? I mean, come on. Now, I don't think every story needs to go into the science of, oh, they've been around for 3,000 years, therefore they should be acting like this and this and this and this and that. But don't tell these stories and make these characters act like what they're not. And that's another thing that I'm going to bring up is that these Amazons, they call Diana clay. They make fun of her because she wasn't born like the rest of them. That is not a good origin story. Ridiculing Diana? Really? That sounds like killing off Jonathan and Martha Kent early on in the story, so then Superman can have a similar moment like another character that we all know. And of course you gotta look back, and this was the time period where Batman was the most popular character, so every single character was turning into Batman. And I see what they're trying to do, yeah. They're trying to give her this teenage angst and rebelliousness, and oh, my family doesn't accept me, they call me clay, and it's so horrifying. Just stop. I like what George Perez did in Wonder Woman: Gods and Mortals. Diana was born on an island with 1,000 mothers. They all cared for Diana. Diana was the child. They all loved Diana. They accepted her as if she was their daughter. And that sisterhood is important, especially with the Amazons. It really demonstrates that that's not the case. That there is tension between Diana and the Amazons for no reason. Just because she was born of clay. I don't like this plot element. I really don't. So later she talks to Hippolyta. I think I finally said the name right. Anyway, so she talks to Hippolyta, and she's asking her, hey, can I go to man's world? And Hippolyta's like, oh, yeah, we'll go when you're older. It'll be great. You and me, we'll take a trip. Diana knows immediately that, okay, that's just bullshit. Yeah, my mom's lying to me, which, Hippolyta obviously doesn't want her to leave. So, you understand that. And as Diana's having doubts, all of a sudden, the stupidest thing barges into her room. Athena. I can't. Now, when you think of Athena, you probably think of the marble statues that sit in the Greek Colosseums. You probably think of, a beautiful, godlike woman that's, her beauty is unprecedented compared to any mortal on man's world. It's Athena. You have a mental image of her in your mind. You're like, I know what Athena looks like. Well, Cliff Chang has a different interpretation of Athena, and you tell me what you think. Does that look like Athena to you? That looks like the Talons from Batman, The Court of Owls. That's what that looks like to me. Anyway, so Diana immediately bows, and she's like, oh, please, please forgive me for my sinful thoughts of wanting to leave. And Athena's like, oh, you're doing what you're supposed to do! Aha! You have the gods' support. Now I will be off. And she flies away. Literally just telling Diana, you're on the right path. Good job. And flies away. And Diana's like, wow, that's cool. So we get to the part of the story where Steve Trevor is introduced. And he's flying over the Bermuda Triangle. And he's doing loop-de-loops and pulls because his shoes are looking cool. He was doing loop-de-loops all over the Bermuda Triangle, and, of course, he started crash landing. He makes a joke, he's like, I've never seen this island before, and then he crashes. Huge, giant explosion that you can see from one end to the island to the other, so you expect that he died. Well, guess what? He didn't. Really, there was a huge explosion. He survived that, and it wasn't even, when you looked at the ship, when Diana gets to it, it's intact. There's not even a huge fire. Just a little fire here and there that you could imagine. If anything, there should have been some black smoke. But no, instead, it's just a giant Michael Bay explosion, so that's cool. Anyway, so Diana runs up, she picks up Steve Trevor, and she immediately asks him, hey, you're from man's world. Note that she's speaking English. So the Amazons speak English? Alright, I mean, maybe it's British. Like a British, English. That'd be cool. That'd be cool. But no, she speaks English. What the hell? She has been there for 3,000 years. Ever since the Greek times. Some stories play with the idea that, no, the Amazons have their own language, but it is kind of sprinkled about that it has something to do with the old ancient Greek language. And that's cool, because that works. That makes sense. They've been together for 3,000 years, and naturally they're going to come up with their own language, and it's going to be based off of the Greek language. But no, she speaks fucking English, because why not? We don't have to have any sort of Pocahontas kind of story where they don't understand each other. Now, fuck it. Let's just tell a story. By the end of this, it really just feels like he's just throwing together a story. There's no planning. There's just, all right, Steve Trevor needs to show up, and they're going to have a moment. So they're talking, and mind you, Steve is bleeding out. He just got into an accident. So naturally, he's having a huge conversation with this girl and trying to get into her pants. It's great. It's absolutely great. He asks her, he's like, "Oh, is this an island full of women?" And she says yes. And he's like, "I'm in paradise." And she's like, "Have you heard of this place?" And he's like, "No. By the way, you're mighty strong for a woman." And she looks at him and then he's like, "Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to offend you." And she's like, "You did offend me." Mind you, his leg is broken. He's bleeding out. But he's able to hold this conversation. He's not even freaking out. He just found an island full of Amazonian women who are 7 foot tall, warrior-like. So, what? Fuck it. He completely accepts it. I mean, they were destined to be together. Anyway, so the rest of the Amazons show up, and they're just like, what are you doing with that man, Diana? And Diana's just like, this is my ticket out of here. She walks by her sisters. You see Athena, Bird Lady, in the back, and she's just like, yeah. And just like a badass she is, that's where the story ends. Diana just says, this is my ticket out of here. I can't. That's the best ending you can think of? Like, it ends on a real whimper. It's so bad. It's so bad. Don't buy this book. Don't. Unless you absolutely need to find out Wonder Woman's origin story for the New 52. Don't buy this story. There are better ones out there. They're coming out with better ones. This is crap. This is dog shit. It's dog shit. Show some love, you know? Don't make her into another Batman character like they did with Superman. There's a reason why Rebirth is happening right now. Because they fucked it all up. They didn't care. They just want to tell stories like Batman. And I love Batman. He is my second favorite superhero. But when I read Batman, I want to read Batman. When I read Superman, I want to read Superman. And when I want to read Wonder Woman, I want to read Wonder Woman. Don't give me this. Do not give me this stuff. Because all I want to do is throw it away in a trash can. Okay guys, so let's go ahead and get down to my final thoughts. Wonder Woman's Secret Origins is dog shit. It's just dog shit. Throughout the entire story, it's painful to read. This story is a 1 out of 10. A 1 out of 10. And to me, when it's a 1 out of 10, that means you want to get up and you want to leave. You don't want to finish it. And that's how I felt. Thank God it was one issue. If this was a whole book, I don't know if I could stand to read it. I think I'd read the first issue and I'd be like, alright guys, yeah, just stay away from it. Because that's what this story is. It's terrible. Maybe it could have been better if it was a little bit longer so that he would have had time to explain things, but for what it is, it's dog shit. You don't want to read it. I want to read something else. Just stay away from it. Anyway, I hope you guys have a wonderful week. If you could leave a like, comment, and subscribe, that would really help me out. I'm just trying to get started out, and I hope you guys enjoy my content. If you have any problems, please leave a comment. Let me know what I'm doing wrong or if I'm doing something right. Anyway, guys, you have a beautiful day, and I'll see you guys on my next video. Peace!